Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Rams House Podcast. You guys might have noticed we missed last week. Me and my whole household were sick with the flu, unable to get on here and get this taken care of, unfortunately. But it was a pretty good time for that to happen. Now we've got 2 weeks worth of free agency and off-season data really to discuss. But
hmm
it's crazy. The off-season has gone in a very different direction than we kind of expected or were hoping. Um, so let's go ahead and start diving into it. What are your guys' thoughts so far on what we've seen?
Um, Me, man, it's been like a bittersweet, double-edged sword thing. They did some moves that I did like. Of course, we all like the Puna move.
Mm-hmm.
We all pretty much like the Devontae Adams move, just probably the different levels of it. Um, Larry Jackson, I love that move. You guys kind of indifferent, but then, like I said, the double-edged part. Then you got moves that really just outweigh the others. You got Tutu for 10 million. Um, you got you guys, are indifferent on the Stafford thing, so we'll see about that. But then you also the secondary is bare. Secondary is not upgraded at all.
Yeah.
You still got the same guys. You got rid of Cooper Cup, and that's a touchy subject, and we're gonna go in about that. But the post June cut, or you didn't get a trade for him, so our cap space is bare right now. That was pretty disappointing. So all in all, it's been just a mid free agency. I'm not happy about it, or I'm not really super mad about it. I'm just indifferent in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit more on the lesser excited side, I guess the negative side of it. I like I said, I like the Puna move. I think that if it's a hole of need that we had with Bobby Brown that couldn't fulfill, he is a block eater, he's a great run defender. Devontae move, I would say, I know Joe likes it a lot. I mean, I like it. It is a good move, but I'm not that same level. I mean, we'll go into it because of Cooper Cup, so I'll discuss more details later. But like I said, then we also made some questionable decisions. Well, I feel like we just wasted money. Tutu signing. I mean, you bring Devontae, why bring back Tutu, especially when you have Jordan Whittington, who's up and coming. You know, signing Coleman Shelton to a starting center contract when we have Bo Limmer, who looked great as a rookie,
Yeah.
and you should build upon that. And on top of that, like Joe said, secondary is still there. We don't have a quarterback one. There's been talks about Akilo coming back, which is not good. If our cornerback room has Akilo Witherspoon as the CB1, then it's it's not going to be great. We still only have one linebacker on the roster, which is Omar Spates. Rosenwell obviously signed with the Panthers. I think Jake Hummels with the Ravens. So those are positive, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
that as a negative. Those
that
are
was a problem.
positives. Thank God those guys are gone. And obviously
Yeah,
Reader's a free agent. I don't think they'll bring him back. I mean, based off of the moves they made. Obviously Hoyt's gone. But yeah, there's still holes on the team. Obviously, Kyron Williams is still the starting running back of the Rams. So lots to discuss. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think what it boils down to is we have another free agency of the Rams just wasting money without actually getting a lot better, right? Like we've spent a ton of cash this offseason. Remember, we were top 10 in cap dollars when the free agency when the offseason began. We also freed up 15 million with the Cooper Cup release. We freed up a bunch of money with the Jonas Jackson. So in fact, if you take all the moves and put them into account, we probably were top 3 in free agent money and cap space, and we've spent it all pretty much. And I don't know that we actually got tremendously better at all. In fact, I think it's arguable that we're pretty much running it back. I mean, this is the issue with the Devonte Adams thing, right? Is that it's not so much that we signed Devonte Adams, it's that we didn't improve our wide receiver room that much, and and we're wasting money on places where we had long-term solutions already in place, like Coleman Shelton, who's being paid to start, which means probably taking Bo Limmer's spot. And Bo Limmer was more than adequate last year as a starting center. You're talking about even if Cooper Cup has to go, you're talking about Jordan Whittington being a much better replacement for Cooper Cup than Tutu Atwell at $10 million. Um, we have one of the highest paid wide receiver rooms in the NFL, and I'm not sure that that's reflected in the talent that we're going to be seeing on the field next year. Because even if you really believe in Jordan Whittington the way that we do, it doesn't sound like he's going to start or get much playing time at all. You don't pay Tutu Atwell $10 million to bench him. You know what I'm saying? Like They paying him to be a starter, and
Mhm.
apparently they're paying him to. This is something I don't like about the Rams. Is like we don't know if Tutu can play the slot. Like that's just a guess, right? Tutu's not
Yeah.
played significant snaps at the slot his entire career because Cooper Cup has been there. It's the same thing we did last year where we came into the season with no plan at center. We just thought, oh yeah, we'll move. It's not Madden. Like you don't guys just don't get to move all over the field, and you pretend that it's definitely going to work. Like Tutu may not work at the slot at all.
And you know what? Not to cut you off real
Mhm.
quick. Something that you just said that was just that's so crazy. That's mind numbing to this whole situation. Like you said about Tutu not who knows who can play the slot. In their mind, I think he might be sort of like the deep guy, right? To open up the offense. But what's the point of getting a deep guy when you got Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams is the S receiver. He can go deep. He can a lot of different.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I mean,
so if you're gonna
So can
have
Puka.
him right, so if you're gonna have both of them, what's the point of getting Tutu unless you're gonna put him in a position doing something that he hasn't done before? So it just doesn't make sense.
It's just odd because Tutu to be successful, he needs to basically be in space,
Yeah.
which requires him to be emotional a lot. And also, it's weird because when you think of a slot receiver, you think of a good blocker, you think of a guy who's really good in tight spaces, who's good around contact. Tutu's none of those things. Like it's kind of the opposite of what you would imagine Tutu being successful at. And
Right.
when you think of Cooper Cup, I feel like Cooper, like 80% of Cooper Cup's catches last year were through contact. Like he was constantly catching the ball through contact all season long. And I'm like, I've almost never seen Tutu really catch with contact because he's so small. He
Jordan fits that too. Jordan fits that next slot guy if we want to use him. Jordan will fit that perfect.
Yes, and so the point is we have this crazily high paid wide receiver room, and I'm not sure that we really got tremendously better. We would have been better off letting Tutu walk, keeping Cooper, and then signing Devontae. Like we would have been a much better receiver room, and Cooper then could have really, he could have taken a pay cut. And the idea that he wasn't willing to take a pay cut makes no sense. It sounds like he was willing to take one to some degree, and then Whittington could got more playing time, which he's earned, and instead we're going to see a lot more Tutu Atwell, it sounds like. And the receiver room, we've made no changes in the tight end room at all. Kyron Williams is still the I
one
mean
of the weirdest tight end rooms in the league.
we
It
still
just
have the
doesn't
same
make
running
sense.
back room,
Yeah.
and so at this point it's we've pretty much agreed to an extent that Stafford is regressing. So I'm not sure that our offense is better. We've basically thrown 50 to 70 million dollars in cap space, and I don't know that our offense is any better.
Yeah. I just got to go back to it one more time. It's so stupid to me. Um, just say we get what we want, right? Just back to Tutu real quick. Just say we get what we want. Just say Jordan Whittington gets a whole lot of playtime, and Tutu they fade him back. They make him a special teams guy. Blah blah blah. Why would you give him $10 million to do that? If you like, it's all
It reminds
That's-
me,
that's the main issue.
it reminds me of a Rams trade, right? Because like when we trade guys, we kind of like bid against ourselves and lower the value of all of our trade guys, like we did with Ramsey and Cup and everyone. We just demolish their value, and then we get almost nothing for them. It was like we were bidding against ourselves for Tutu. There's no one who will convince me that any other team was going to come near $10 million a year for Tutu Atwell. It was not going to happen. This is just like, hey, we really like Tutu, the individual, the human being, as Sean likes to always allude to, and they paid him really good money because of that. And it's like it's almost like we did him a favor because we haven't given him enough playing time to really prove he earns money. So we're like giving him money and an opportunity to prove he belongs in the NFL. We're supposed to be contenders. We're supposed to be building a Super Bowl roster, and we don't have the time or the money or the effort to like be giving charity out to players. And
Exactly.
and now we're giving Tutu 10 million. We're gonna apparently go through with paying Kyron Williams 5 million. We've upgraded the depth of the O line. I'm not sure Coleman Shelton is much of an upgrade over Bo Limmer at this point. I think Coleman's probably better in the run, and Bo's probably better in pass pro. But they're pretty much a wash overall, I think. So the O line is the same. The quarterback is regressing. The running back room is, I think, going to continue to progress. I don't think Kyron's getting better. I think he's going to keep getting worse. The receiver room is slightly better, perhaps, but like again, it's like we paid 23 million to Devontae per year, and then we're paying Tutu 10, and we paid over 20 million to Cooper Cup to go away. It's like we could have just kept Cooper and not signed Tutu, and we would have been $15 million ahead. Like that doesn't make any sense. Right? I'm not crazy. Like this is nuts.
Absolutely. I mean, that's my main issue with it. My main issue is just we just wasted money.
We
Like you
wasted
said,
money. We didn't
we could have.
need once we re-signed Alaric Jackson, the O-line was fine. Leave it alone. The O-line's good enough to be successful to run the Sean McVay offense successfully. The receiver room, we signed Devontae. We honestly just could have let Tutu go, kept Cooper Cup, and kept Whittington, and that's probably the best 4 receivers in the NFL. That's the top. Like that's an insane top 4. Unbelievable.
That's the best receiver room in the NFL, and that's not even a question.
You know what? Can we talk about the money breakdown real quick? So, so Tutu, so Cup was owed how much next year? Well, this year 22 million.
27 and a half.
So 27, right? So you signed Tutu, that's 10, right? So if you'd have just kept Cup, it wouldn't have really been that much crazy of a difference when it came to money wise.
Well, we saved 7 and we technically saved 15, but we moved money forward, right? And we could have restructured Cup and done the same thing. So like if you really wanted to move,
that's a great point. We could have
easy.
Like they said a thing.
And I'm sure Cup was willing to take a pay cut
because when they do a post, even if he wasn't, they do a post June 1st cut. It's the same thing as moving that roster bonus forward as a signing bonus. So they could have done that easily. Everything they achieved financially with Cooper Cup could have been done with a restructure without him taking a pay cut at all. So even if you are like the most negative guy and think Cooper wasn't going to take a pay cut, we could have freed 15 million in cap space without him taking a pay cut, period. That could have happened. It wouldn't have affected our salary at all. So we could have kept Cooper Cup for free. That's an absolute bona fide fact. We could have kept Cooper Cup for free. And instead we paid him to go play for the Seattle Seahawks. And then we gave Tutu $10 million. With the way we manage the money itself, we really made our offense, I think, slightly worse than it was last year, which is crazy to even think about. And we still have stuff to replace. We still need more receiver depth. We still need, and then people go, oh, well, if you don't like Tutu, then maybe we draft a receiver and then we don't have to worry about him. Well, then we're paying a guy $10 million to rot on the bench. And we're also letting Jordan Whittington rot on the bench, who's proved to be talented.
Even more worse. That makes it significantly
really does.
We signed 2 receivers in free agency that were paying a total of $33 million this year. On top of that, Jordan Whittington is already there. And then you draft a receiver. So what, you're going to play 5 receivers? That rookie isn't going to play. So let's say if you do play the rookie, you signed Tutu to 10 mil. So what is Tutu is going to sit on the bench?
Gadget again. He's a gadget guy.
I don't see that. Like, if they're bringing back Tutu Atwell, they're using him as a starter. If they brought back Tutu Atwell to be a gadget guy like he was,
I'm gonna be real with you guys. In my opinion, unless the Rams are on some absolute bullcrap, there's no chance Tutu Atwell starts on this team. Whether we draft a rookie who beats him out for the job or Jordan Whittington beats him out outright, there's no chance. Unless we're doing that Troy Reader, Kyron Williams bullcrap of last year where we're just letting a guy play because we really like him and it makes us feel good about ourselves.
Unfortunately, I feel like that's what it is. And I hope I'm wrong.
You know the funny part about it? Oh, go ahead. My fault. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just going to say just quickly, like, I just feel like that's what it is because why would you pay him $10 million then?
Well, it's just all around dumb. Like I just think that, like we probably, and what I just said, we're probably gonna get what we, sort of want. Jordan Whittington's gonna play. We're gonna get the best 3 receivers on the field, and Tutu's not gonna play a lot. He might be special teams gadget guy, and I think that's gonna be the thing because there's no way he starts on his team. So them just paying them $10 million sort of feels a favor to him, a shine because Sean loves him so, and they gave him a favor. Hey, look. We're gonna give you this $10 million. Let's see if you could carve out a niche in the league. See if you could do something, and that's just what it is. Like that's
exactly what it is. It's almost like, hey man, we drafted you in the second, and then we barely played you, so we've kind of hurt your future value. We're gonna try to
overpay you. Let's overpay you a little bit. Right.
Which is why it's only a 1-year deal because we don't actually want Tutu long term. We're doing Tutu a favor is what we're doing.
That's what it is.
And so, like, let's take a look at the depth chart. Like, let's just look at the team right now. specifically on the offense side of the ball. Let's just talk about offense first. I'm not convinced we're better. I think at best we're basically the same offense we were last year. Now,
I agree. Yeah.
I disagree a little bit, but we can go. We can.
yeah, I mean, I think you think the receiving core is a little bit better than it was.
Yeah, that's literally the only difference. Is I just think Devontae Adams is like really good.
But I think, I think the difference
I
between
feel like that. I
D
feel
Rob
like
to
that gets canceled
Devontae,
out, though.
yeah,
I
I
feel
feel
like
like mostly cancels out. I agree.
because we still Kyron Williams is still the starting running back. I feel the running game still being the same and it probably getting worse
The tight
because
end room
Kyron
being the
probably
same.
regresses. Tight end room being the same unless they address it, but I don't
And
know.
but see, it
Will
doesn't
they address
matter.
it?
Like everyone's we're gonna draft tight
Yeah.
end. The issue is we had so much money to spend and we blew it. And like I said, even Joe, who's pretty high on the situation, thinks that basically our offense is just slightly better, right?
Oh yeah, I think it's slightly better. I don't really think it's going to be like, oh, we're going to be a top 5 offense. I think, like I said before, I think we're going to be in that 10 to 15 range in that area around there. So I think it's going to get better because like I said, I'm high on
And that's
Devontae
At the end of the day, though, you know what's crazy
that's
is
not good.
even what you're thinking and saying is predicated on this notion that Stafford learns to throw to more than one guy, which
Yeah.
is obviously in question. I think we can all agree that that's not a guarantee either. So, anyways, we spent a lot of money, but I know it doesn't seem like it to just looking, but we spent a ton of money on this offense, like a lot of cash between Stafford getting a massive raise, of Alaric Jackson getting a massive raise, Coleman Shelton getting $6 million a season, Devontae getting 23, Tutu getting 10. We actually spent so much money on this offense. Jimmy G's coming back for some more cash. Ronnie Rivers is coming back for more cash. Like we actually spent a lot of cash, and it almost seems non-existent. Like it's crazy to think about. Now, here's the other thing, right? It's like switching gears to the defense. Now, this is the part that really pisses me off too, is because what we should have done on defense, let's just say like we did what we did, okay? We did what we did. We wasted a lot of money on offense, and I do mean waste. What we should have been doing is we should have said the Puna Ford was such a great start, saying, hey, we're going to get a guy who, by the way, is a huge space eater, right? A lot of double teams. He commands a lot of double teams. He's good in the run game. He's an adequate pass rusher. Like, he's going to transform the D-line even more. But what we should have done, we should have doubled down, is we should have said, hey, let's get ourselves, because ultimately you don't have to have an elite team everywhere, right? Like teams win Super Bowls by having an elite unit, right? And if we had just signed a good inside linebacker to pair with Omar Speights, we could have said we have an elite front seven. But right now we have a huge question mark next to Omar Speights. We could have had an elite front seven. Now we're kind of like, we have a really good front seven, but it's not elite yet. And we could even go out and get Kazir White right now. Get Kazir White, and we have an elite front seven. And then even though our secondary is basically the same as it was last year, which is not good, we can hang our hat and say we're going to stop the run, we're going to have a crazy pass rush, and we're not going to ask our guys in the secondary to do a lot. But that hole is glaring right now. It really is. Look, teams do this successfully. They commit themselves to something, to an elite, like they commit themselves to an elite pass rush, an elite secondary, or elite at stopping the run, and that's good enough to carry them into the playoffs and to find an identity. We still kind of feel like we don't have an identity on our team at all. Like we don't have an elite running game, we don't have an elite passing game, we don't have an elite line, we don't have an elite. I guess you could say we have an elite D line, but we don't have an elite front seven, and because we know for a fact that a mediocre guy next to Omar could really throw the whole thing off balance.
Which is, I guess, which where the draft comes in. We're gonna look at some guys, and I heard the linebacker, cornerback rooms are pretty stacked, so we can see how that turns out. But
you know what? They were stacked the same year that we took Tutu Atwell instead of Nick Bolton too.
That's another thing.
I was positive we were going to take a middle linebacker of that draft. Positive.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Here's the thing with the Rams, right? And I'm saying this mainly, this is pointing towards Sean McVay, but when there's an offensive player that he likes, that he really likes,
he's gonna
try his best to go out to get him to every degree and at every level. until he can't get them.
Yeah.
I know it obviously could be a positive thing as well. I know last year he was trying to get Brock Bowers, but unfortunately the Jets blocked him off and they
Yeah.
weren't willing to trade. If the Jets were willing to trade that pick, right now the Rams would have had Brock Bowers, not Jared Verse.
So we don't
And
have a second round pick. Remember that. I think
yeah, no,
there's a high
I'm
chance
saying
that we trade up in the first round to get the tight
I'm just
end
saying
from
like
Penn State.
I'm just saying in general, but yeah, I mean, what I think we do is we probably trade up because I feel like Sean's going to see a player he
Well,
likes.
to the
then-
point that you're making though, what I'm
then-
saying is we can say all we want, we're gonna get a linebacker, but if we trade a third round pick to move up in the first round and get the Warren from Penn State, we're not gonna have a high enough draft pick to pick a linebacker that for sure will be a starter. So it's like,
No, that's the point though.
yeah,
right? That's what I feel like they're going to do. If Sean McVay likes an offensive player that much, that he will go out there trying
Yeah.
to trade up for that player. And then we're not going to have like a third round pick.
well
because
we'll still have a third because we got the comp, right? We got the comp pick.
We got 2/3.
We got 2/3.
Unless they trade, I don't think they would do that.
I think
Maybe.
they'll trade a third this year and our first, and then
Second?
a second next year or a third next year
Yeah,
to trade
probably
up,
second next
because we really need to get to the top 10 if we want to get that tight
Yeah.
end from Penn State. And look, I know a lot of people are talking really positively about a couple of the other guys, but from everything I've heard and seen, it's like there's one potentially generational tight end, and then there's a couple good ones. Sean is not the kind of guy to go for one of the good ones when there's a generational. Like he wasn't going to settle for a different tight end last year. He was either going to get Brock Bowers or he was going to get no tight end.
And that's why I feel like he might go all out if he sees an avenue, he sees an opportunity to get
I
one. Because
agree.
last year he missed out on a generational talent in Browers, and we saw what he did with the Raiders, who were in an awful situation
Awful.
last year. And you get a guy like Ward. He's not the level that Bowers is, but he still can be a great tight end. Like,
Listen, bro. Off topic a little bit. I was watching some Warren stuff last week, bro. They put him in. Penn State was putting him in a wildcat, bro, and he was
Yeah,
scoring.
I've seen that.
wild.
Yeah,
Like he's a
athletic.
great.
He's
a
athletic,
special
man,
talent.
yeah.
He's a special talent, bro. Yeah,
So,
but oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? But like I was just saying on I would love to if we go up and get a tight end and go up and that's a great move. I'll be happy about that. But then it just comes back to the point to where you can't fix a hole in our defense when literally all you had to do was one simple move. Save that $10 million that you gave Tutu. And you could have gave a corner or a linebacker $10 million. And boom, we would have had a whole foot on defense. Still would and get Tyler Warren and his team would just look better. So it's people understand small moves because they didn't do anything like humongously dumb in my opinion, but small moves could look way larger than they actually. So just paying Tutu Atwell $10 million can hurt the team just as much if they did a huge mistake. So that's just how fickle this offseason stuff is, man.
I mean, it's like even if like you make a bunch of small investments, they add up, and overall they look like one big investment. So at the end of the day, like we said it like 50 times, but they wasted the allocation of resources. We could have spent better in free agency. We still have.
Well, you know what makes it worse is that we moved a bunch of money forward. Like, we already know that some of the Stafford money's been moved forward. Alaric Jackson's contract is backloaded like significantly. We're gonna have to pay him like, what was it, $28 million the last 2 years of his deal.
I think one of the years was like 30, I think.
Yeah, so Alaric's gonna get crazy money the next 2 seasons after this one. Devontae's getting, I think, $32 million next season. There's a lot of money being moved forward. I'm expecting Tutu's contract to have some void money next year. I mean, look,
because no way his cap hit is 10 million.
Yeah, I mean, so let's take a look real quick.
I don't think the cap hits 10 million, but it's probably around the 5 million range, maybe.
Right now, Spotrac has us with $5 million, but I know like Devontae, I think his 30 million cap hit next season. It's an estimate, could be a little bit more. And then Alaric's cap hit the next 2 years
24.
is going to be 24 and a half, about 25 basically almost. So a lot, Jimmy's got a lot of incentives that could come into play. A lot. Puna Ford's contract is heavily backloaded. He's getting 5 million this year and then 11 the next two, which by the way is still a good deal. Like I'm super happy about that deal. But the point is not only have we kind of like shot ourselves in the foot this season by not really becoming a significantly better team with all that cap space we had, but we've also moved so much money into next season that we're gonna have a lot more trouble. You know, we're gonna have $40 or $50 million less next season than we could have and should have.
I just feel like the avenue that they went, it hurts us short term, and it also hurts us long term. And I mentioned this at the beginning of this offseason that this offseason, what the Rams do, it will tell me what their mindset is going forward because of how important this offseason was. The last 2 years, we fast tracked a retool. We had drafted, we hit in the draft. Yeah, we kind of failed in free agency, but we hit heavily in the draft, which countered that. So set a good foundation for us to build upon that. We had a golden opportunity. I mean, we'd already discussed the Stafford thing, but we had a golden opportunity out there to potentially trade Stafford to get a return that we'll not get now. Like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, we're not going to get anything for Stafford ever again.
And then on top of that, like we said, if we allocated our resources better instead of pushing money forward, we could have not just been good now, been good for the next 10 years. I'm saying even 10 years because that's how the team was built before this
Yeah,
offseason happened.
and you know the interesting thing is we get really excited because we had two really good drafts in a row, right? And that's obviously great news. But the primary reason why being good in the draft is so important is because it's a lot of good players on cheap rookie deals that allows you to spend money on talent. But instead of spending money on talent, we really squandered most of our cash. And we lost that advantage that we had kind of fought for cash wise. And
Yep.
you know, we're not like burying ourselves in cap next year, but like we're gonna have 40 or 50 million less than we would have had, and that's not nothing. That's
Yeah,
substantial.
yeah. Right now, I looked. Of course, Stafford thing and some other stuff's going to update it, but right now we're at 76 effective cap. So after we might be around 60 something. We could have probably had close to 100 if we would have did it.
That's
If we would did everything
that
right.
100 million. That's franchise altering. It is because yeah, with 60 million, I mean that's obviously like excluding if there's potential like free agent signings. So you have to add that as well if we sign any re-sign anybody, right? Who's a free agent?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's assume, right? Maybe I don't know. I'm not exactly sure who's a free agent. If oh yeah, Puka Puka's contract is coming up.
Yep.
I just remember
I
that.
think he pitches next offseason. I think if we're going to extend
Yeah,
that.
And Kobe
so
and Kobe.
and Kobe,
And Kobe, yeah.
and we also have to think about Versus contract in the future. I know he's a rookie and he's going to the second
I
year,
mean,
but
Verse
that's
is
the thing we have
about
to
to
think about.
earn. He's about to earn
He's gonna
cash.
get and we know how and I'm gonna say this in general, edges get overpaid, like some crazy contracts. So Verse is gonna get like we see like record breaking contracts every day now in off season, like oh yeah, Max Crosby got record breaking. Now Miles Garrett got this. Micah, and by the way, Micah hasn't been paid yet. Mike is about to get something crazy. He's going to break the
Well,
record again.
also
So
on that same vein, you know, T Higgins and what's his name and
Jamar Chase,
Jamar
yeah,
Chase, they just got paid heavily. They kind of reset the whole wide
Jamar
receiver
Chase just
market.
got paid 40 million, and I expect Puka his contract is going to be something around that. Like,
It's probably going to be between like 35 to 40. It's going to be right. It's literally
yeah,
going to be right in that
Well, no,
range.
but yeah, but it's going to be another season. So yeah, 35 to 40, easy. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot coming up, and we had an opportunity to really solidify the future financially, and I think we failed to do that. And then the only talent that we got that's going to be here in 3 years is maybe Puna Ford and maybe Alaric Jackson if he survives. But I can't fathom a way that the Rams pay him $25 million to play in 2026. To be
No,
honest.
the most I see him being here is next year and this year. That's
Yeah,
the most.
yeah. So
yeah.
it's just wild, man. And I think overall it really fell flat. And I expect to have a really good draft again, although that's probably not a smart thing to do because the fact that we hit two in a row, hitting three in a row is almost impossible. in the draft. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it might be one of those things where we have one really good move, and then the other ones be
Yeah,
most
I
of
don't see us like because last year we absolutely nailed the majority of our
The
picks.
late ones,
Like,
especially.
yeah, the late ones were the ones that you usually never nail, and that's the rarest one. Like we had
Yeah.
multiple fifth and sixth rounders that we just absolutely nailed, and that's
That's the
probably
hard.
not going
That's
to
the
happen.
hard part.
Yeah,
The early ones are usually the easy part. The first rounders are usually sort of easy. It's the late rounders hitting those like fourth and down. Those is the hard ones, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so look, let's just discuss this. Where are we at as a team? Are we Super Bowl contenders any more than we were before?
No, I
Let's
think
see.
we're the same team. I don't think we've improved at any which like 14
Me,
yards away, BS or not. Like that I think that's just stupid. Like I feel like we even potentially got worse based off of how Stafford performs. If I think Stafford will continue to decline.
Yeah.
If he plays even worse, and then Kyron gets worse, and if we don't address the cornerback position
And
properly,
Tutu is a
linebacker
starter.
Tutu's a starter, linebacker position is still just an issue. Spates is the only
O
starter
line
there.
could also take a step backwards.
That's potential as well. Like that's what I said.
Havenstein could continue to have injury
I mentioned
issues.
this
He
2
could
weeks ago.
regress.
We just made our margin for error like 10 times bigger. Like
Yes.
the potential to fail is significantly larger than it was last year. Like it's so I don't think we got better. Pretty much that's it.
Joe?
uh, I think we're Super Bowl contenders. No, of course, I'm always higher on the team than you guys are, but I just think that I think if I had to rank it, tier one is Lions, Eagles. Of course, those are only two teams I have in tier one, and maybe Chiefs. They teeter, depends on what they do. But I think we're right in the other mix with all the other teams with the who would you say
I mean,
Vikings,
I don't have us
I
beating
mean,
Vikings.
the
if you're saying
Bills.
like are you saying like the Bills
Oh
and
no, the
maybe like
Bills, the Bills are nah. We're not better than the Bills. I would say we're literally right under those, right in the
I
next
would say
year, whatever the
teams
next
that
year is.
are I would say we're on the other tier. We're a playoff contender. We could go on a run, but it's most likely not. We seem
Yes,
more of a round one exit type team.
me
We'll make
me
the
per, me,
playoffs.
per, me personally, I think we're I'm dead seriously. I think we're literally about the same. We can win a playoff series, of course, and I think we can win the second round series. I think we're in that you might could make the NFC Championship game, but I don't think we could reach to beating the NFC Championship game. I mean, beating the team in the NFC Championship game. Super Bowl, I think we're just slightly right under that.
I mean, we're division winners. That's where we are. And
Yeah.
I will say though, I don't think that's even necessarily sealed up. I mean,
Uh, I'm almost certain. I don't believe.
And
Well,
that's why I said like okay,
The Cardinals are interesting. The Cardinals are
I see
interesting.
it's like I see it's like a 50-50. We're like a divisional team.
look,
We
here's the
yeah, we can
reality
definitely
though.
win.
The 49ers have had a history now of losing a lot of talent and getting better as a team, especially with health when health is involved. Like the 49ers probably will have a top 5 offense next year, barring
Um,
injuries. I mean, dude,
I'm not.
they've done it. They do it so consistently.
Yeah, but I just don't think they have the talent now. I don't think it's because before then they had like a really, really like. I think McCaffrey. I don't know
They
where
still
he's going
got
to be.
Kittle. They got McCaffrey. They have
Kittle. I don't know where he's going to
Ricky
be. Brandon
Pearsall.
Ayuk.
Pearsall was looking great at the end of last season.
Pearsall has to take that leap. He has to. I think he has to take that leap. I'm not the only team. Like I said, the Seahawks. I don't because Sam Darnold. I just don't believe in Sam Darnold. The only team that
Yeah,
interests me a
but
little
hold
bit.
on, Sam Darnold. Yeah, I mean nobody believes in Sam Darnold, but can he do well in the regular season? Yeah, he's proven he can do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just that offense is. I mean, it depends.
Kenneth Walker is a top 5 running
No,
back.
their offense, they don't like talent wise, their
Jackson
offense
Smith
isn't
and
bad.
Shigba. They've got Cooper Cup now.
JSN broke out. They have Cooper Cup.
Well, let's you know what? Let's take a look at some of these depth charts for
Noah
this
Fant's
team
solid.
because they still
Obviously
have
Kenneth
work to do.
Walker's there.
But let's take a look at the 49ers real quick. I mean, this is not a bad. Bro, they've got Demarcus Robinson as wide receiver 4. Juwan Jennings isn't bad. Ricky Pearsall is capable of taking a huge step forward. The O line is kind of meh. They definitely probably want to do some work there, but they still have CMC and Juice
I
and
assume in the
Kittle.
draft they're gonna address the line.
I agree, but like you're telling me this offense can't be a top 5 offense. This is the only thing Kyle Shanahan does well.
Top 5 offense,
Bro. Kyle Shanahan does this every season.
like okay, listen, okay, thinking about this is a good argument. So think about it like this, right? If we're gonna expect a lot of decline from some of the Rams guys, you have to expect some decline for a lot of the older 49er guys.
Who?
Like, is Kittle gonna be that top 5 tight end in football next year? Is Christian McCaffrey still gonna be top 2, top 3 running back next year?
Yes.
Those like if those some of the questions I would have to ask. Like, I think talent wise, I think we have better talent.
On offense?
On offense, I think we have better talent. I think we're a better team. I think we're a better team all around.
I mean, as of right now, I think it's fair to say they have a better running back. They have a better left tackle. They have better tight end. They have a better quarterback right now.
No, see, come on, see, that's I think that's the difference right there. If I don't think Matthew Stafford.
Oh no! Did you get into a coma the last 3 seasons and not see Matthew Stafford play football?
Yeah, but Matthew Stafford highs has been better than Purdy could ever.
It doesn't matter because he only hits those highs once or twice a season. Who cares?
No, that's not true. Last year he hit that high for at least 6. Not this past season. Season before then, 2023. He hit those highs way more than 2 times. He hit them,
but he's getting older.
And relative to like 3
we're talking about Brock Purdy. Just so y'all know, we're talking about Brock Purdy. Like
we're also talking about Matthew Stafford.
We're not talking about Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about Brock Purdy.
No. The issue is you're talking about Matthew Stafford.
Me thinking Matthew Stafford could be better than Brock Purdy is not like a hot take.
91 quarterback rating the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, we went over that already, but we're talking about Brock Purdy.
But we're talking about Matthew Stafford.
Matthew
Stafford isn't the same guy he has been.
Let's pull up Brock Purdy's last like 3 seasons. Let's just compare it.
Matthew Stafford base is better than Brock Purdy, bro.
But Brock Purdy is still ascending, and Matthew Stafford is regressing. You're acting like it's Matthew Stafford from 2018. It's not.
Is he ascending?
He has the last 3 seasons he has a quarterback rating of 105. And Matthew Stafford has one of 91.8.
Yeah, but it's so much context in that. But we could,
But context that's now gone?
No, the context is that first year using, he was hurt half the year. He was hurt the whole year, basically. And also the team was off with the O-line was gone.
But Stafford is injury prone. He has injury problems. So you're acting like it's not possible he gets injured again.
No. Of course, I'm just saying if I'm using context to that first year, that first year had a whole lot of stuff that happened that happened more than just Matthew Stafford being bad. There's a lot more things that happened that year.
But wasn't that a pretty heavily contributing factor? When your quarterback is dog water, isn't that pretty bad?
Coop was hurt. The O-line was hurt.
So the quarterback being dog water has no effect on how the offense plays.
No, I'm saying that it was a whole lot of factors around that to where you could see.
Oh, okay, I know. Matthew Stafford playing like shit is never his fault. So that's like when has it ever been his fault? Name me one time Stafford sucking balls has been his fault. One time.
And some of the years in Detroit, it was his fault. Some of the years in Detroit.
No. I was told that he had no running game. That he had no help on the line.
He didn't, but it was something.
Oh, okay, so more excuses.
It's the thing that you do when you talk about Stafford is you never add context, and then it's always the worst outcome all the time. It's because you may not be a fan of Stafford like that, really, but
no, I'm trying to be real.
No, that's not being real. Being real is understanding both sides of the equation. You're only on one side of it.
No, I'm not.
I'm looking at the bad and the good.
I've never in my life heard you ever blame Matthew Stafford for anything. Ever.
Yes, I blame him for bro. The whole time we were watching during the season, I was blaming him for
No. You were blaming Stafford, but Let me get my encyclopedia of
Look.
excuses out. I have all of the excuses to make.
Because when you're watching football, bro, it's more than just a quarterback playing bad. It's more than just him being bad. This league having bad performances. So many things that the quarterback playing bad.
I would say I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. I think y'all agree to disagree. I mean, but I'll say this though. Overall, like I can understand what Ethan's saying about I don't know about top 5. It's potential. I would say top 10. I'm not sure about top 5 because I do think the talent got worse. You have to remember Christian McCaffrey has had some serious injuries.
Of
He has an
course.
issue.
Are we gonna do the same thing for the Rams then? Because then Kyron could get hurt, Stafford could get hurt. Our whole line is injury prone.
Ethan, I'm talking about the Niners right now. Let me get into the Rams. Let me first talk about the Niners, all right? So McCaffrey, right? He has an issue with his tendon, right? It's like I think it's some tendonitis in his tendon. That's not good, especially he's a guy who's getting closer to 30. And look, they do have Garendo, who's in the ropes, who is a talented back. So I can see them possibly splitting some time with him to help, alleviate some stress on McCaffrey. Pearsall has the potential, but he still hasn't, we've seen the potential in Pearsall, but he still needs to play more. Ayuk, I think, is overrated. He's garbage. Kittle, there is a potential for him to drop, but he's still a top 10 tight end. So yes, their offense and their O-line also, the interior of their O-line is very questionable as well. But they'll probably just in the draft. But the Niners are very good. I'll say the positive thing for them is they're very good at hitting, in those spots like late in the draft, like guard. They always find these late round guards and centers they can just plug in like that. I'll say that that's a positive thing. Now with the Rams, yes, Stafford. Listen, I've literally been one of the biggest advocates to move on from Stafford. You know this. Like this entire season, I've been criticizing him. I'm saying that he's been awful majority of the time. He's had a couple moments. Yeah, Stafford will have those moments where he looks great for like a quarter, for a drive. He'll make like a crazy throw, but at the same time, he'll make a boneheaded play. He'll force a turnover. So that's a thing as well, right? We've had Stafford in 2022, we had injuries, but he wasn't great as well. 2023, besides the last 5 games and in the Lions playoff game, he wasn't great. This past season in 2024, we mentioned, I think it was like 4 or 5, like I think it was probably like 4 games, including the playoffs. Like he was, because I guess the Vikings game, he did his job, so I guess I'll count as 4 games. 4 games where he played well. That's not good. Overall, he's been like a below average to bad quarterback the last 3 seasons. So there is stuff to back it up. Purdy, the first 3 seasons of his career, he's been if you look at stats wise, he's been above average to good quarterback. His last season was his worst year, and they had injuries, but we know who Brock Purdy is. Brock Purdy isn't a superstar, but if he has talent around him, he will do with what the talent is. Stafford, that's where I would say that's where like the question mark is with Stafford, is that even if we put that talent around him, will he use that talent effectively? Will he spread the ball around with that talent? That is the main question with Stafford. So I can understand what both of y'all are saying, but I would say there is that's the context that I give for both sides. That there's negatives for both and there are positives for both as well.
But we're not even going to weigh those the same. That's the problem. And at the end of the day, Rams fans have gone full-blown delusional. Every offseason, I have seen Rams content creators and Rams fans predict that Stafford's going to throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. And he hasn't even come halfway to those numbers.
That's just stupidity.
Okay, but those are extremist fans.
No, they're not. Those are some of the most popular content creators and most visible people on Twitter.
No, but I'm saying forget them. Let's talk about me. You call me a homer all the time. Even I don't even think Stafford's going to throw 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. I've never, even the first year he came.
But we can't even sit here and have a real conversation about where the Rams might finish in the division, because we're always going to give every excuse in the book to our team, and we're never going to. You guys are talking about Christian McCaffrey getting hurt. Puka could get hurt next year. He's already had a significant injury. Stafford could get hurt. Alaric could get suspended again because he's a moron.
But what I'm saying is, though, of course those things can happen. But when a fan, me, whoever says that the opposite could happen, you act like it's a super hot take. It's not a hot take to say Stafford can be better than Brock Purdy. That's not a hot take. I don't know why you're acting like it's a hot take.
There's nothing
It's not
to
a
it
hot
right
take.
now.
It's not-
He has been bad for 3 years straight.
Bro, he's not been bad. Okay, well, forget that conversation. We keep because we didn't have that
Yeah,
conversation.
speaking of Cook and the McCaffrey thing, obviously anyone can get hurt. Like obviously Stafford is injury prone. Puka had a knee issue. Kyron has had a massive load work the last 2 years. He also got injured in his first season as well. Remember, he missed a few games because of an ankle injury. Like that can happen. Obviously, that can happen. And I don't think. By the way, I don't think. Like, I have to remind again. I don't think this offense is going to be great. I think we're going to be around that 20th, 15th to 20th. I think at best 15th at best because I think the running game gets worse. And that's obviously if Devontae plays well, like I mean I think he will play well, but I mean like he exceeds that to a degree. I think we'll be around that 15th because of that run game will counter that. We'll even if we have like a top 10 passing offense, I think our running game is going to be bottom 20 just because of Kyron Willis. But yeah, injuries can happen. I mean we have injury prone guys as well. It's all possible. Like
Yeah, but we can't just default to everything bad's gonna happen to the Niners. Nothing bad's gonna happen to the Rams because I'm a homer and because I'm drinking the homer juice.
I never said that.
McCaffrey played a full slate of games in 2023. The idea that he can't play another full slate of games.
I mean, that's why I just gave the context for the Rams. I said that Kyron Williams.
But again,
time in 2023.
it doesn't even matter. The last 3 years, the rankings of with all the injuries that the freaking 49ers have had, he is 6th in 2022 in offense, 3rd in 2023, and they were 13th in points, but 4th in yards last year. Even with all the injuries that they suffered last year, he still basically had a top 10 offense. That's 3 years in a row having a top 10 offense.
Ethan, why do you think I said that the margin for error for the Rams is massive? It's because of that. It's not just.
But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Joe because Joe's acting like the 49ers being a good offense is an impossibility, but the Rams are basically going to walk into a great offense. Stafford's about to have MVP season. It's ridiculous.
See, what you're doing is you keep construing my words and you keep saying stuff that. So one, I didn't say that Stafford was going to have a crazy season. No, all I'm saying is that if we go back to the conversation that we originally had, comparing Stafford to Brock Purdy, and you were saying that Brock think could be a better quarterback. And I'm saying that it's not could that happen?
You're breaking up.
Joe, you're cutting out. Like,
oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, if we think about it the other way around, and we say, hey, maybe Stafford could increase his play, not to elite level, but to a level that's better than Brock Purdy, I don't think that's a hot take.
He's 37 years old. He's been declining for 3 seasons.
But also, another thing we have to think about is when we look at these conversations, we have best offensive play callers, offensive minds in football.
None of that matters, though, because Matthew Stafford refuses to run the offense. We saw that last year with Jimmy Garoppolo.
You saw that in one game, actually. That was a one game.
But Jimmy Garoppolo ran the offense, and it was beautiful compared to what Stafford does every game.
It was not beautiful. So can we please stop?
It was the best offensive game we had all season, except for the Bills game.
So, but what I'm saying, okay,
with backups.
That's
with
not even a
backups.
What I'm saying is this, though. We have a top 5 offensive mind in football. He's shown that with Matthew Stafford, he could have a top 10 offense. He's 2020, even like you said, he was so awful in 2023. We had a top 10 offense. You can go back and check and go.
Yeah, because Kyron Williams played out of his mind, and he's not going to do that again.
And you say he sucks too, by the way. So that's just a whole nother conversation.
He does.
So
the O-line carried him.
I don't know how they had to do anything with Kyron, but Stafford, like you said, was still so bad. I'm telling you, if Stafford just can incrementally increase his play, and we have Sean McVay, added Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, and I'm expecting not to have people to take huge step back. If we just play at an average, okay level, we're going to be a good offense.
So we're going to double our offensive output with basically the same team.
You can say double. You can say double it, but
we were 20th. We were 20th. You're talking about top 10,
right? When you're playing at such a bad level, like when you're playing at such a bad level like that, I don't think you have to double your performance for it to be good.
So you think Kyron Williams is taking a huge step forward?
Okay, do I think Kyron was going to take a huge step forward? No, we already talked about it.
So you
No,
think
we
that
haven't talked- we
you
haven't
think
talked about it.
Stafford is going to take a huge step forward with a bad running game then, right?
No, I think Stafford's going to be better than last year, like you said.
With the bad running game.
No, okay, okay. A bad running game. We have a good offensive line. It has shown that it can carry Kyron Williams.
So then
It's
you
shown that
expect
Joe,
Kyron, you expect Kyron to take
Joe,
a huge step forward.
Joe, you're cutting out like.
Yeah, I know. I got it.
So, yeah,
I'm sorry. I got to move closer to
you're good.
to my mic. My bad.
So then you're expecting Kyron Williams to take a huge step forward, is that correct?
No.
But you just said the running game can be carried.
Yes, that had nothing to do with Kyron Williams though.
Well, statistically, he's going to have to take a huge step forward if the running game is going to be better than trash, which it was last year.
No, I think the offensive line could open up a whole lot of holes.
They didn't
And I
open up
think
holes
that-
last year?
Did they open up holes last year? Yeah, they did.
Okay, then. So what's going to happen differently?
Sorry, can you got?
Yeah.
Have I been cutting out?
No,
You're better now.
now.
You're better now. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to get to being this incredible offense next year. I'm trying to figure out.
I didn't say incredible.
You're
Stop
talking
doing
about top 10 now,
I
so.
didn't say incredible. I said 10 to 15 earlier. I already stated where it was going to be.
But now you're talking about top 10 because we're talking about how much.
if we-
better-
Hold on. Okay, let's.
If
let's
it's
set
10,
this
it's top
straight.
10. Yeah.
So you think the offense is going to be average to above average?
Easily, yes.
Okay, that's a benchmark. Okay, all right. So that now that's established.
I have way too much respect for Sean McVay to think he's going
Where
to
do you
2 years in a
view
row
the
with
running
off-time.
game as a whole be? So I'm not just saying Kyron. I'm not just saying the O line as a whole. Where do you view it, being at next season?
Where were we last year?
Bad.
I mean, if you think I pull up the specific statistics, I don't exactly remember, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, we're
I know that for
basically
sure.
bottom 10, basically, overall. It's right here.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Besides in 10, yards, we were
we were
24th,
Yards with 10.
24.
Yeah.
15th, and then 31st for yards. per
Rushing
attempts.
yards, we were basically we were 24th, so we were bottom 10. So we were
I think
pretty
I think the run game is going to be better for the specific fact that Sean McVay is going to learn from what he did.
You're cutting out again.
I think Blake Corum is going to get a lot of more. And
Oh, so you're thinking that basically with Blake Corum's involvement, it will improve.
So we're gonna pay Kyron Williams $5 million to play on the bench. Is that what we're doing?
no, like we've been saying, I think it's going to be a split backfield, actual split backfield. Hold on, y'all. Give me.
If that is the case, then it will improve, but it would probably be like it's not going to improve to a significant level.
Because Kyron's still gonna get the bulk of the carries.
Yeah, because Kyron is still going to be a running back, and I don't think Corum's going to probably get like if they are going to do a split backfield, it would have to be 2/3 Kyron, 1/3 Corum.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's
even
gonna get
less.
8 to 10
Yeah.
touches a game max.
Yeah, it's not like Corum's going to be getting like 15 touches and Kyron's going to be getting 50 touches. But yeah, I mean that improvement. I mean, if we do math, basic math, it would probably be around 15 to 20. So it'd be like below average to average running game, which is not good. But
Which I still think is asking a lot right now, to be honest. But
and that's by the way, that's assuming Corum gets a share in the backfield.
which I think is
That's
a
assuming.
pretty big assumption considering
Yeah.
what we saw last year.
I just think, I just believe in Sean McVay. I just think that Sean McVay is going to get this together, and I think we're going to have incremental forward steps from certain players, and also we're not acknowledging taking another step.
I think
I
we
think-
all.
I think that's going to come into play. I just think if all those things happening with Sean McVay as the offensive coordinator, there's no way we're going to be in the 20th two years in a row.
But
I just don't believe.
done
I just
that
don't believe that's
before.
going to happen.
we've been
When
we've had multiple
I said
years.
in back-to-back seasons.
So that's your caveat. He could do it, just not in back-to-back seasons.
No, that's what I said in the beginning. I said I don't believe Sean McVay could go back-to-back seasons. I said that in the beginning.
Okay, so those are silly goalposts, but okay.
No, I literally said that in the beginning.
It just doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm saying Sean McVay. I don't think Sean McVay, as good of an offensive mind he is, back-to-back offensive season.
Okay. So you think our offense is going to substantially improve then?
I think it's going to be better. Yeah.
I mean, you go up 10
I mean,
spots
okay,
in your rankings.
we're going in circles here. I mean, Joe's benchmark of being better is what he thinks is better because he's not saying significantly better. He's saying average to above average. So 10, so 15 to 10. So
Yeah,
I think that's set in stone. So now so basically from bad to average to above average is what you're saying, Joe.
yeah.
If I understand. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah,
We keep it like that.
yeah.
Move on.
It didn't make any sense at all. Stafford's going to become a superstar all of a sudden. Can't
I
wait
did
to
not
see
say
it.
he was going to become. I did not say he was going to become a
He
superstar.
has to. For your
you're not.
predictions to come
No,
true, he
no, he
has
does.
to
No, he
become a
does not.
superstar.
No, he's not. No, he does not.
Okay.
If we're gonna move on, can we actually move on, please?
Yes. Let's talk about the 37-year-old
Yeah,
quarterback
let's
taking a
talk about
massive step
okay,
forward.
yeah, let's talk about the if we want to go in specifics of this free agent signings if y'all want like
Yeah.
We're not going to
I
talk
guess
about
we
the
can
division anymore. We're done. The Rams are going to win it, no contest. Everyone else is going to have all the injuries and all the bad luck. We're just leaving it.
No, I mean,
I
you
mean
the
that's
one,
a
you said the Rams were gonna have all the injuries, and all.
No,
So
I didn't.
I guess we're not. I guess we're not going.
The only
I guess we're not.
person
I
who's
mean
not applying things equally is you, Joe.
No, you said that Stafford. You said Stafford's going to be awful. You said that Kyron's
I
going to
think
be
I
awful.
think I
I
think
said
divisional stuff is not
I
Davis
said
gonna be
Stafford
awful.
is going to continue to regress, which he's now done 3 years in a row.
Okay,
I think we leave
you think he's awful? So
let's leave that divisional how we'll perform in the division. That's a discussion for another day because
yeah, we
we're
can
not
talk
at
about
that
Puna.
point.
We can talk about Puna and Devontae. That's
Well, we
it.
got into it. We started the
Talk about what's
conversation.
um all right, y'all want to mention Puna first or Devontae first?
It
Do
doesn't
we,
matter.
we,
You guys want to see your graphics? Here's your Devontae Adams graphics.
yeah, Devontae Adams. Yeah, we could talk about that. I pulled that stat up. This is his success by route last season. He did make.
You're cutting out again.
Yeah, you're cutting out, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Well,
Is
like I
your
was
mic?
saying, now my mic is right here in front of me. It
Okay.
might just be a connection issue or something.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, like dig routes is a thing that he does proficiently. So that's a big. It's just showing you how good he is and his success rate in the multiple super crazy and was curl route flats. But he was good in everything else. That's just a view of how he can be in all he can be.
Okay, OJ, any thoughts on this?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't have really much to add on this, and we know this about Devontae. His best attribute is his route running. I mean, arguably his hands, but I think his best attribute is his route running. I mean, the stats show it here. I mean, he's just a great route runner. You can use him in so many different avenues, short and slants and screens, obviously in the out routes, dig routes. He can also be used in posts consistently as well. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, like I said, I like I like the signing, but my gripes with it is that we had Cooper Cup, and we could have had Cooper Cup, Devontae, and Puka if we didn't pay Tutu Atwell, and we took a pay cut, or we restructured his contract, or we cut him post June and then brought him back for free, basically. So, yeah, I mean Devontae, I mean I like the signing. I mean he probably will be good for our offense.
You think Stafford will throw the ball over?
That is the question mark, though. Will we? That is a valid question, and that is my main issue with Stafford. I mean, will Stafford just force feed Puka? Will it be where Devontae might get the ball for 3 games, then Puka gets the ball for 3 games, and it like switches like that? Yeah, I mean it's based off history. Probably not. It's probably gonna be very like I can see it being where like Puka gets the ball for a couple of games, and then Devontae gets the ball a couple of games, and it's just and that's not good, by the way. That's bad for the offense. They should be getting around an equal split. Maybe Puka a bit more, because at this point Puka is the number one. So I mean the target share should be like Puka should be getting like 10 to 12 targets. Devontae should be getting 8 to 10. That's how it should be.
That just
Probably
doesn't
not
happen,
gonna be like that.
unfortunately.
It's not going to happen probably, but yeah, I mean, we're speaking about like Devontae's a player. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, he's going to produce if he gets the ball. So we'll see.
Yeah, if he gets the ball, he's going to produce. The problem is that's not been a consistent thing ever in Stafford's career, going all the way back to his Lions days. So it's a tough one to deal with. All right, what do we got? Puna Ford.
Yeah, Puna.
So,
This is my favorite signing.
Oh, yeah.
I like Puna a lot. I mean, the stat speaker right here. I mean, he was one of the best at eating blocks. I think he was top. I couldn't find the stat, but from what I
I think he
remember,
was
he was
top
either.
5.
I think he was top five. I think he was top 5 in double team rates,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
I'm
think
pretty
so.
sure. He also was a top 10 in a run stopping rate as well. Like he's just a good nose man. He does his job well, and on top of that, he's also a pretty like sneaky pass rusher. Like he's a
Mhm.
he has a nice. I watched some film of him. He's a nice a swim move. Like he's pretty quick with his hands as well. I mean, on top of that, you pair him with guys like Fisk, Kobe. You pair him with guys. Obviously, we have Verse and Byron the Edge. I mean, that D line. I'll say this: the positive thing going into next year that I know for sure is going to be good is the D line. So if there's something to hang your head high about, is the D line. Like I know that for sure
Yeah,
is going
yeah.
to be great. Yeah.
If we could finish it off with another inside linebacker for the front 7, that'd be great.
Yeah, then if we get another inside linebacker, I mean they're
Yeah.
probably gonna adjust in the draft. I mean we'll see, but
I got a funny thing. The Rams addressed the linebacker situation. They signed Nate Landman.
who's
Clap it
that?
up. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up.
Nate Landman.
Who's that? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I looked. I was just looking it up. He started 9 games for the Falcons last year. I don't know. I don't know who he really is. So, but
Nate
somebody,
Landman.
yeah, Nate
Are you
Landman.
sure about that? Because
Oh yeah,
Pro
he's
Football
right.
Reference has him with no games played.
Yeah, I
Nate.
looked on.
Oh, okay.
I looked on his. Oh, yeah, I looked on his Pro Football Reference. It said he started 9 games with the and 14 the year before.
The guy from the Falcons?
Yeah, Nathan Landman.
I'm searching up right now.
Oh, there's a Nate Landman as well, who's a different person.
Oh, okay.
This is the guy we're talking about.
Nathan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nathan
in Pro
Landman.
Football Reference, it says Nathan Landman.
Yeah, Nate
Yeah, I
Landman
don't
is a
know.
different guy.
Yeah,
He allowed almost a perfect passer rating in coverage last year.
Holy
yeah,
crap, that's horrible.
yeah.
Excellent.
He was good. He was decent 23, and then 24 he was just god awful.
Okay, so that doesn't adjust the linebacker position. If this guy,
Yeah.
we basically okay. You know what this is? Hey,
Is that Rose Bowl part two?
you don't get Rita Roseboom, but you get his brother.
You
You
get
get his
I know
you get
his
his
cousin.
distant brother though.
Rams
So it's
fans were
the-
like, "Hey, can we have Troy Reader?" And Les was like, "Oh, we got Troy Reader at home."
So guys with Rams fans were celebrating. That's what see that's why you Joe. Now you know why I wasn't fully celebrating Roseboom and Reader and like these guys. Cause I just had a bad feeling, you know. I was
We
like,
probably are
I
going to
swear to
start this
God.
guy.
I pray to God.
nah, he's a starter,
God.
bro. I think this guy's a starter.
I pray to God he's
He's
not as bad as Rose Bowl, bro.
I don't know,
I'm
man. I
on,
think this
I'm
is.
on my knees.
I don't think we're adjusting a linebacker in the draft. I think this is our starter.
I'm on my knees that he's not as bad as Rose Bowl. God, please.
I mean, last year he technically was. So
Yeah, I'm just hoping that he's just a random today. You know,
I mean,
in a
I hope
practice,
so, man. But
practice
I don't
squad
know, man.
doing
The
it.
Rams they don't really value the linebacker position. So
Oh my gosh,
Just-
look at this. So here's his RAS score. He ran
Oh
a
my God.
4.8640. He's pretty slow.
A good, cool vertical. Other than that, does
what was the contract like specifically?
It hasn't announced it yet.
Okay.
it's a 1 year. It's a 1 year deal.
Yeah, it's a one. Here's
Hope he's just a practice dummy, bro.
we'll see. Okay, so then we've got. Let's look at this. This is more Puna Ford data. He is. Where's Puna? Puna's all the way over here. Run grade defense, top 5 in the NFL, and still an above average pass rush grade. So
Yeah, he a dog, man. I love.
This is our I would say I say this is an A signing right here.
yeah, I think so because he wasn't even that expensive.
Yeah, he wasn't. He's like I think he's 10 mil per year, and his guaranteed money is 17 over 3 years. So it's like
Yeah, and the funny part about it is I didn't really know that much about Puna when we first signed him.
Yeah.
And Ethan and you, OJ, and a whole lot of people were just telling me. And Ethan actually said he mentioned him.
You're breaking up again.
But,
You're cutting out, Joe.
Oh yeah, I guess I just don't remember. But yeah, Puna is like that, man. And it's been cool to learn so much more about him. I learned these last 2 weeks. He's a dog.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about he completes the D line. I mean, our D line is set in stone. Obviously, we
Yeah.
need like some small depth pieces, but they'll probably add that in the draft.
Yeah,
Well, they got
Yeah,
Tyler Davis. They've got, there's some depth pieces already on the roster.
they brought back, I think, Larry Murchison as well. I would
Yeah.
have
yeah.
liked to see. I would have liked to see them potentially bring back what's his name again?
Gallimore.
Gallimore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got Tyler Davis. They have Deshaun Johnson. They have Murchison. They've got we have Nick Hampton and Keir Thomas and Jackson Brennan. We have some depth already, to be honest. We only need another one or two guys for that D line depth, and we're set.
Mhm.
So yeah, that D line's gonna be something special next year, barring injury. But
Absolutely.
the rest of our team, tough sledding.
That's the issue, right? The D line is great, but then we look at the other levels of the field. Linebacker position. I mean, this Nate Lamb. If this Nate Lamb guy is a starter with Spates, first off, I want to say I'm sorry, Spates, that you have to deal with another Rosenblum, another Reader next to you. And on top of that, it actually the funny thing about it. I looked at the stats. That guy was actually worse than Rosenblum. So he literally allowed like basically a perfect passer rating
Literally,
and
the
coverage.
only good thing about this is said that he only had 6 missed tackles against the run last year. So I
Yeah, but
guess that's a positive on him.
what we're missing specifically is a cover linebacker.
The cover there we that's a great
Because
the cover linebacker.
Spates is still developing in that department. He was great in the run game, but he's still
Which,
developing as a cover
which is
linebacker.
why
Yeah.
Kaiser White would have been
Kaiser
a
White was perfect for
slam
this
dunk.
role.
That's a slam dunk move
By the
right
way,
there.
isn't
Good
Kaiser White
coverage.
still a free agent?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. He's still a free
How
agent.
has he not been signed yet? Like,
Well, because we're busy signing Nathan Landman, so
and I'm just saying in general, like that's
yeah.
that's an
He might be asking
quality
for more.
linebacker right
He
there.
might be asking for more money than a
Maybe.
lot of teams
Yeah.
think he's worth. Maybe that's how it usually ends up being.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of question marks on this team right now, especially if we bring Akella Witherspoon back. Our corner room
Oh,
is
by the
gonna
way,
be.
I didn't even bring up the secondary, but we don't
That's a
have a
whole
CB1,
different.
bro.
That's a
We
whole
don't have
different.
we don't have a CB1. I mean Darius Williams was very up and down last year. Kobe Durant was probably the only positive out of the corners. I mean, he's shown that he is a good slot corner.
Yeah,
Um, but that's it though. I mean, boundary wise, we're very like shaky. And on top of that, the
Yeah.
star position is still Quinton Lake. Quinton Lake is still the star.
yeah, yeah.
And I I don't. Y'all might get mad at this, but I feel like the reason why they haven't addressed that is because I think they view Jalen McCullough and Quinton Lake as viable for that position, as stars, as box-to-box safeties.
And
So
you know what's funny, bro?
yeah,
I think they believe in they could develop Emmanuel,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
that's
and I also
Forbes is
think
another
that,
one. Yeah,
and I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on re-signing Kello yet, but I think that unless they're going to go high in the draft, I think that they believe in Emmanuel. They believe in Darion Kendrick, and I think that this might be certain what it's going to be unless they jump high. I think with or without Kello, I think this is sort of what the secondary is going to look like.
So
Like I said, unless they go up
why
and get right.
why should we take the Rams seriously if the Rams aren't going to take the Rams seriously?
Well, it's because I'm high on different parts than you guys. That's just what it is for me.
This is just not a team that I see competing for anything.
look, if we look at it in an overall spectrum, though, it's just not a competing team for a Super Bowl. It's simple as that. I
Or
mean,
if we're talking about chip, if we talking about chip
I mean
status,
that was
only
I mean
Super
that
Bowl talk. Yeah,
I mean, that was the goal. That was the goal, right? So we basically fast tracked to retool the last 2 years. We
Mhm.
were they say 14 yards away from the championship game, right? Which we
Yeah,
were. I mean, but based off of that, with the resources that we had, and we had a good amount of cap space, and obviously with the draft in the future, if we allocated our funds properly, we're a championship level team. We are. Like it's not. I do not question that. But we did the complete opposite of that and just stayed the exact same. We didn't improve. So yeah, we'll probably be 10-7. We'll probably potentially beat a first round opponent. Potentially, we'll probably lose the division against one of the top teams like the Eagles or the Lions. then it's going to be a repeat over again. Until the Rams prove otherwise and show me that they're doing something different, this is what I believe will happen. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes. We got the draft coming up. You know, and of course, in season trades happen with certain teams with the Rams, especially. So we'll see how. You know, right now we don't like I said, we don't like a Super Bowl contender. I may be higher on them than y'all. We're still at the same spot where we don't think we're a Super Bowl contender. So
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think the division's a lock. To be honest. I think that's silly. We're not good enough to lock the division.
no,
down.
I don't think we. If we could have, bro, we could have made it to a degree where we would absolutely dominate this division,
Yeah.
and we could have been potentially like a top seeded team, and it wouldn't even be a question. Like NFC West, yeah, we got that lock. What we have to worry about is the Lions and the Eagles in the playoffs. That's our main concern. That's what it should have been. That should have been the goal. Is to how do we go from being a team that is like at the Vikings level. Obviously, I mean, the Commanders are now taking the next step. That was at the Commanders level. How can we take that next step to be at the Eagles and the Lions level? Like this team, when they're healthy, they're going to be a championship contending team. Like
You know
these
what?
are the best teams.
Did they have the winter meetings yet? Because I know there was talks about getting rid of division winners as far as seeding is concerned. Did they ever move that forward?
I don't think that's going to
I don't
happen
know.
this year, but
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe
probably not
there
this
have been
year.
discussions about it. But
Because that would probably deeply hurt us, to be honest. There I wouldn't be surprised if there's not wild card teams that are higher wins losses than us this season.
Yeah, it would probably hurt
The
us,
Commanders are
'cause
probably going to have a better record. I
the
mean,
the NFC North is going to be
the
what's
NFC
it called?
North, yeah.
Tough. I'm trying to think. NFC East. Well, yeah, the Eagles and Commanders is gonna be
Yeah,
those two.
I mean, I'm comfortable saying we're the favorites to win the division. I just don't think we can rule anyone out at this point in the division.
No, there's
Because
NFC
there's
West.
no NFC West team that's good enough to like say, oh yeah, they've got the division locked down.
There could be like the Seahawks or Niners could like overachieve to a degree, because we know, like we said, Seattle, like usually they do pretty well, decently in the
I
regular
mean,
season. Like
Seattle has some pieces
yeah,
though. I mean, if Kenneth Walker
They're-
can stay healthy, they could have an insane running game.
and Darnold showed that he can be a good regular season QB. Playoffs is a different question, but we're just talking about regular season. He can be
Yeah.
he can do his job in the regular season.
They've got insane
Um,
corners. They have Tariq Woolen. They've got
their secondary is
Witherspoon.
great.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of talent. It's not out of the question. And the Cardinals are ascending. And you know they have
Cardinals
guys.
still the Cardinals still have to prove it to me.
The Cardinals could have the best running back room in
Yeah.
the NFL next year. If Trey Benson takes a step forward with James Conner, that running back room could be bonkers.
The Cardinals still have to prove to me that they can
Yeah,
not
of course.
collapse in the second half. But I mean, there's potential there for sure.
There's just that's my point. Is that it's just really I don't think you can rule any of those teams out. Like realistically,
you can't. I mean, you can't rule it out based on what we did this offseason, because we pretty much stayed the same, and we left room for another team like the Niners or the Seahawks to just sneak in there and potentially
yes.
steal it from us. So yeah.
Do we think we can do the same thing again if we start off very slow in the season? Can we have a crazy rebound again?
No, I think this time around, I think if
Yeah.
if I think how good that I think
No.
we're going to be, I think you gotta start good. You
No,
can't start.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Because I think the margin for error is a lot worse. That if we
Yeah.
start horribly, it's just gonna be a bad season.
You gotta start. You gotta start good. And when I mean good, like first 5 games, you got to be 3-2 at least. You can't be.
You
You
have
can't
to
be.
have a positive record. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be like we were 1-3 or 1-4, and then expect to leap after that. You gotta start off strong,
Yeah,
and then
I just kind of see it the same way you, OG. I think we've created such a large margin of error. There's so much that could go wrong.
It's not a
you
winning
guys mean
formula.
small margin.
Yeah, yeah, small margin of error.
Yeah.
It's not a winning formula. I mean,
Yeah.
we were supposed
There's
to
too
be a
many
Super
huge
Bowl.
holes on this team.
Yeah.
Like think about it. Like think about it this way. The D line is great, but what happens if like Jared Verse gets hurt? He is absolutely the main cog of that D line.
Yeah, it's detrimental.
With as bad
Versus
as
our
our
superstar.
secondary, with that secondary that he's playing in front of, if he gets hurt, our whole defense could be done.
I mean, he's our. I mean, it's like similar in a way. I'm not saying he's AD, but it's like similar. If we lost AD,
Mm-hmm.
our defense is just significantly worse
Because there's
because
just too many holes.
he was a cog. He was a cog. Like AD, like let's be honest, AD throughout our entire his career, we've had holes in our defense in every phase of our defense that
Yes.
we've had. But he's been able to cover up those holes because of how great he is as a
And
player.
how healthy he was. I mean, AD
Also, yeah, he was
was
an Iron Man.
crazy healthy.
Pretty much majority of his career is an Iron Man. So, and then Verse is now that cog. He's our superstar now. So if we lose Verse, that's gonna affect like it's detrimental, man. If we lose Verse, that like defensively, like season is probably like cooked. Like
I think there's equal things on the offensive side. If Puka gets hurt, that could really be
Puka gets hurt.
a big jump.
Devontae gets
Havenstein could get hurt.
O-line gets hurt. Devontae
When
gets
Dotson
hurt.
when Dotson was hurt, man, that O line was struggling. Dotson's kind of linchpin of the O line. It seems like.
Dotson is the focal point on the run game. By the way, if we love to run our zones through Dotson and those are our two best run blockers. So if those two guys are hurt, our run game is probably honestly like null and void, like significantly worse.
Yeah, I just see there's a lot. I just don't see it as much different with the other teams in the NFC West. They all have weaknesses. They all have problems, and we talk about McCaffrey getting hurt, but Kyron's been injury prone since he's played football. Through high school, he's had injury problems almost every season. His health last year was basically miraculous for his history.
I mean, if we look at track records based off the usage that Kyron's had, there is a high possibility he's going to get this season.
It's going to be that's going to be a Troy Reader type injury. If you know what I'm saying.
And that's the thing. And at the same time, I don't wish injury on anyone, but that would be a positive because that means Blake Cora becomes a starter, and we finally get to see him, unless Ronnie Rivers gets majority of this. But
yeah, I just failed. There's so much excitement in the Rams fandom right now. Like the Rams have wrapped the division up, and we're going to be in the NFC Championship next year, guaranteed. And I can't fathom that viewpoint at all. We have been up and down for a while, and I don't think we did a lot to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of gone in circles also, but yeah, we've stayed the same. I mean, overall, the Rams they didn't hit in free agency. They wasted money. They made one or two good signings, but overall, we stayed the same as a roster.
Do you guys want to grade free agency? I know it's not fully done yet, but it pretty much is.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much done. I mean, we're not going to make any more marquee signings, so yeah.
Yeah, we can grade it based on, of course a trade could happen, but I doubt it. But
do you want to do like individual players or like?
No, let's just grade free agency as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to think about it for a little bit. Y'all can go.
Joe, you want to
go?
Start us off on a positive note.
Let me walk myself through it. So I like the Tay move. I like the Puna move. Didn't like the Tutu move. Don't really care about the blow. Didn't like the Coleman Shelton thing. I liked AJ being back.
I was hoping we get Coleman Shelton for like $3 million, man.
Yeah.
See, if Coleman Shelton came back as like a backup and it was like $3 billion, I would
never like a 1 year, $4 million deal. Or
I would be completely fine with that. But it's the fact they paid him as a starter center, and he is going to be starting center.
I don't have a problem with Coleman because I like Coleman as a player, the average guy. He's cool, but starting
we basically spent
but it's just bad business.
We spent money in a position that we didn't need to spend money.
It's just bad business to like get your rising stars and then like shove them to the end of the bench. It's bad business.
Yeah. So if I had my grade would be based on C+.
C+? Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go, OJ?
Yeah, I mean, I have it around like a D. Like
I'm gonna go D as well.
Yeah, I don't think we got better. I think we stayed the same.
We spent the worst part is that we spent a ton of money.
And the reason why I didn't go average, I didn't go C, is because I feel like we did more negative than good. We did more
Yeah.
bad things because of the, like you said, the money spent. We wasted our resources. We, like, for example, like even like the small things, spending $10 million on Tutu Atwell, where we could have, restructured Cub or released him post June 1 and brought him back, and then brought Tay as well. We would have had the best receiver core
Yeah.
in the league with, and then on top of that, spending money on Shelton, where we already had a starting center, which doesn't make sense. Um, not addressing the cornerback room, which is still a hole. Not addressing the linebacker room. By the way, this dude that we just signed is not addressing the linebacker. We just got Rose Boot
I'm
/
I'm
Regan
pretty
Cat.
sure it is addressing the linebacker room. Just
Yeah, but I'm saying, when I'm saying by addressing, I mean like in a positive way. Yeah, we talk about addressing it. Yeah, they addressed it, but I'm talking about like in a positive way.
I'm
No, they
just
didn't address it
I'm
in a
just
positive way.
predicting how the Rams view it. I think they view it as they
Yeah, I
address
mean,
the linebacker
yeah, but I'm giving
room.
my opinion
Yeah,
on it
yeah.
because it's I'm so yeah, D. It's a D. Yeah.
You know what Leslie loves? Leslie loves bargain bin deals. So in his head, he's probably thinking, okay,
He
we
probably
got
thinks he's
we
just
got
the
Nate
best at it.
Landman,
He's
probably
a,
$3 million, $2 million. We got Nate. We're gonna put him in there, and he could be. That's what he.
He's gonna be the next Levante David. Yeah, I'm gonna go with D as well. I think I think the reality is we spent a lot of money. I think we probably have spent top 5 money this offseason, and I think we
we did.
have very little to show
I
for it.
spent top 5 money, so yeah.
When you spend that much money, you got to have some real improvement on your team, man. You just
Yep.
do, and we don't have enough of
Yep.
that to justify all the money we spent. If we didn't have a lot of cap space and we didn't get a lot better, that's one thing. But you had a lot of cap space and you did not get a lot better, so it's like it's just a piss poor free agency, man. It's I would say it's almost as bad as last year, maybe worse. I don't know. It's last year and this year's free agency are having a battle for suckage.
I would honestly give last free agency an F.
I ain't gonna lie. There's nothing worse than that one, bro.
That one
That
was
free
just
agency
there's
was.
because I don't think there's even
Yeah, but you're talking about we spent 2 or 3 times the amount of money. That's the
yeah
problem.
we did, but the only reason why I'm giving it a D is because of the Puna Ford signing.
Yeah,
And
Puna Ford really
would
carries a lot
have
of water.
if we hadn't signed Puna Ford, it would have been an F.
Again, it's
Like,
not that we don't like Devontae Adams. It's just that the totality of the wide receiver
Yeah.
room moves. What?
No, I was just saying I do.
What do you mean?
No, because you said it's not like we don't like Devontae Adams. I was just making sure that people know.
Yeah,
No, we
No, we like the
we
Devontae
like-
Adams moves, but
No,
wait,
I know y'all do.
it's the
I was being-
totality
I
of the receiver
I was
room
being funny.
moves.
It's
Yeah,
my issue with the signing doesn't have to do with Devontae as a player. It has to
Yeah,
do
no,
with
I was just
the
being. I
way
was
the
just being.
Rams handled the whole Cup situation and
Yeah.
how we could have had Devontae in Cooper Cup with Puka and Jordan Whittington and had
Yeah.
the
that
best
receiver room would have
core
been
in the league.
insane, dude.
It is that's the best receiver room in the league.
You know what
It's
sucks
not even a
is
question.
with Sam Darnold in the Seattle Cup's about to have a nice season up there, man. It sucks.
I predicted. I think he's gonna have a nice season for sure. I see it happening, 100%.
It's so infuriating. He's probably gonna be healthy for the first time in 3 seasons too.
That's fake. Oh my
It
God. If
happens,
that
dude.
happens. That is just
Dude, but
so
this crap happens though. This happens in sports. It just does.
How
It's
you-
just
He's
it's just
also, by the
crazy.
way,
It's
also
weird.
you have to remember as well, Cup
How you
is
go
gonna
from
be
being
motivated.
hurt
By
constantly
the way,
every last 3 years?
Cup's gonna be
But
motivated.
Dude, Cup just works so hard, man. If there's a
Cup's
guy
gonna
who
be-
can
no.
just randomly get healthy, it's Cup.
My main thing is that Cup is gonna be motivated.
Yeah, he
Like
is.
we're gonna see a motivated Cup. Like he's gonna want to prove. He's gonna prove to the Rams, you should have cut me. You
That's
think
cool.
I'm not good
That's cool with
anymore?
me.
I mean, I'm just saying he's gonna have a good season
Cool. What's cool? That Devontae Adams belt coming right around the corner. It's coming.
if he gets the ball. But we'll
Coming.
see.
Don't worry.
All right,
they've
so we
sacked.
all agree. You said C minus, right, Joe?
C plus.
C plus, and we said D. So those are our free agency gradings. I think we all agree that we didn't do a lot to propel ourselves forward into being contenders. The draft probably won't change that. We don't have a ton of draft capital. It may do something to
Okay.
change our. Well, I think they have enough draft capital to change one side of the ball. But what I mean by that is they could get a corner, a CB1, and maybe like an inside linebacker in the third, or they could get a tight end, and then maybe like a swing tackle, a backup swing tackle in the third. I don't think they can help both sides of the ball.
Okay, think about it like this. Of course, to the audience out there, we haven't really dived into the draft yet. We're doing this week actually, so we're gonna have a lot of content for you guys. But think about it like this though: if we go into this draft and we see all the players, and we find a player like we and we grab that player in the first round, you don't think there's
You're
gonna
cutting. You're cutting out, Joe.
like, and we grab the player that we all love universally, and we
Mhm.
put them in the first round. You don't think it's gonna change our mind to say, okay, well, if the sun might be shining a little bit next year.
No, because it doesn't. That doesn't. Let's say, for example, we get like a Tyler Warren. Does that change the way Matthew Stafford plays the game? I think we've gone over this like 50 times.
Yeah. I keep forgetting that.
So
That's
if
the
Matthew
biggest.
Stafford magically becomes a better quarterback, then yeah,
If
congratulations.
Tyler Warren is on this team, bro, this offense is gonna If we got an actual good to great tight end, that's different. Bro. That's different.
Yeah, because that's the other. If Stafford isn't throwing to his number one, he's dumping it off to a tight end or a running back. So
Yeah,
a good tight end probably would make a big difference just in that, because that does fit what Stafford does.
That's why last season I wanted Brock Bowers so badly.
Matt Stafford
Yep.
made Brandon Pettigrew look like a freaking Hall of Famer for a few seasons.
Tyler Warren, please, bro. Something. I need Tyler.
Oh,
I gotta watch other tight
We're
ends
gonna have
too.
to trade way up for that,
Well,
though,
we
man.
would have to trade up for that because he's gonna
Oh
be
yeah, baby.
he's gonna be
Hey,
a top 50.
We were talking about trading for Brock Bowers.
Man, forget it,
I
man.
can that's it's possible. Like he's probably gonna be a top 15 pick.
Bro, when the last time the Rams actually made like a super duper aggressive move?
Jared
It's
Goff.
been years, bro.
Jared Goff.
Yeah, like come on. It's been years, bro. Go for it, man. Just make an aggressive move. Get all the.
I don't.
I mean, it
Go
can
get it.
happen.
I
It can
don't
definitely
want
happen.
to, simply because of the fact that it's not going to change our outlook this season, and then we'll have lost future draft capital. I don't want to keep digging the hole further than it already is, personally. But
It's not. I'll say this. Yeah, that's true. It's not smart. But when we're talking about it possibly happening, it possibly could. because
yeah, no,
McVay,
they could do it.
when he likes a player. And
Does
that's
Tyler
why-
Warren make us contenders?
No.
Then
he
don't
doesn't.
do it.
I think Tyler Warren, he lifts my offensive production. That's all I could.
He doesn't. A rookie doesn't just suddenly make us contenders like
No
that.
contenders. No, I think he just.
That's a very like. That's a stupid.
Our defense is hanging on by a
pure
thread,
stupidity. That's a
gentlemen.
stupid take.
I'm a little nervous about the defense.
Our
And
defense
that's what I'm
is.
saying, right? Does
it's
Tyler
defensive line
Warren?
above.
Does Tyler Warren make our defense better?
No, I just think it takes me from 10 to 15. I would just say 10. If we got
Top
if we
10?
pick up top.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a crazy take. If we
Yeah,
get top
it's
10,
not. I don't think we go contenders. Nothing can make. Only thing that makes us contenders if I don't know.
Alshon Genty.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's
Hey,
possible.
if Ashley Genty walk in this building, that's a
Oh
problem.
man, that's not happening. He's probably going
It's a
top 10, bro.
problem.
That's
If
not
he
gonna-
walk in
it's
this,
not gonna happen.
if he got horns on, that's a problem. That's a problem.
He's going top 10, bro. That's not gonna happen.
That's a problem.
You know what would
Yeah,
make me happy is if we cut Kyron Williams.
Yeah, that'd make me. I would actually
Imagine this scenario.
No, okay, you know what?
Hold on, let me just throw this at you. Kyron gets cut. We trade up and draft Warren, right, the guy from Penn State, and then we draft Trevion Henderson. So then we have Blake Corum, Trevion Henderson, dual back system with Warren.
Okay, if that happens,
we're not contenders, but we're
not contenders.
Top 10 offense.
But I'll say this.
Good. We're damn good.
I'm not gonna say we're contenders, but our offense would be top 10 though. I'll say that. Okay, then I'll say yeah, that's a top.
It's impossible to be totally transparent with the viewers. It's impossible to call a team contenders when the secondary is so trash. That's what it boils down to. You can't have one entire quarter of your team be that bad. Like, you can't have a bottom 5 pass offense or a bottom 5 run offense. You can't have a bottom 5 secondary or a bottom 5 front 7. Like, you can't have a single unit on your team in that sense. That's just bottom tier. You can't be a contender in that way.
Like look at the Bengals. Like, the Bengals had an elite offense.
Yeah.
But their defense was just god awful, and they missed the playoffs because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we that avenue, if we do that, we go out and get Trevion, we go out and get Warren. If we make those trades, I mean, yeah, our offense will be great. But again, does that address the quarterback needs? We still have issues with linebacker position.
Yeah.
We got Nathan Landman, bro.
Now you're breaking up, OJ. Did you mute your mic, OJ?
I can't hear. Okay, there we go. There we
Yeah, you're back, OJ. You're back.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was saying that like right now we have Nathan Landman as the
Yes,
starter
sir.
linebacker with Homer
Yes,
Space.
sir.
So
Ray Lewis incarnate, baby.
we got Ray Lewis and Luke Kuechly
We
together.
got Troy
That's
Reader.
what the Rams.
We got Troy Reader 0.5 is what we got in reality.
The Rams, but the Rams view him as Luke Kuechly, though, right? He's Luke Kuechly reincarnated.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly.
All right,
That's
guys,
good,
that was a good one. Got a little spicy up in here.
Yep.
Thought we'd have
we
some
love
fun
the
with
spice,
it.
You know, it makes it fun.
Yeah. So we'll be back with draft coverage all the way through the draft from now on.
yeah,
All
baby.
we're gonna be talking
From
about are
now
draft
on,
prospects,
it's his draft. man.
draft
Yep.
stuff. We're officially done with this aspect of the offseason. We're looking forward to taking a look at all the draft prospects and see what they could bring to the Rams. We appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how big of a Ram hater I am in the comment section below. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys next episode.
Peace.
All right, take care, y'all.